Hey, my name's Jonathan Potoshnik. If you're thinking about getting in business or you have a passion to be in business for yourself, it's something you really want, it's imperative you watch this video all the way through. I'm going to try to be as frank as I can. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as I can, but I want to give you some words of encouragement and I want to tell you some roadblocks and some things you need to watch out for. This is really important you watch this whole video. So, I'm in business for myself. If you don't know much about me, I've owned a number of different service companies, I'm involved in technology company. I've been in other technology businesses. I've done a tremendous amount of technology and marketing consulting. I've been very fortunate at a very young age to have had some really big successes and do really well. And I've also been involved in some things that haven't gone so well. So I've learned some really valuable lessons, and I've been really fortunate in that because I've done so much consulting, I've got to see the businesses of a lot of other people, and I've got to learn a lot of stuff. I read a lot, I study a lot, I think about this stuff. This is what I love. So I really want to share with you some stuff that I hope is going to encourage you, but it's just critically important that you listen to what I'm going to say. So you want to be in business, you're thinking about it. Everybody wants to be in business for themselves. It's an overused cliche. The American dream is to own a business, but it's really true. Most all of my friends that don't own companies, and even the guys making six figures and multi-six figures, not all of them, but an awful lot of them wish they owned their own business. They see it as freedom. They see it as they get to do anything they want. They see it as all that. It's just the ultimate American dream. To some degree that's true, to some degree that's a falsehood that's not quite as glamorous as it appears. If you have any desire whatsoever to be in business for yourself, you have to do whatever it takes to get into business for yourself. Period. You do not want to look back in 10 or 20 years and say, man, if only I had done that. You don't want to be stuck making $40 or $50 or $60,000 a year and think, man, if I had just taken the risk before I had kids, or when my kids were still young, or before I got married, or whatever, before I started buying the big house and the fancy car, if I just done it before that, I could have made it. Whatever you do, if you have any desire to be in business for yourself, commit yourself now to doing it. And understand going into it that there's a cost. Any Hollywood type story you've heard about where you're going to start your business and next year you're going to be living in $1 million house driving a super nice BMW is BS. Period. It's BS. You hear the stories about the guy that goes from 0 to 10 million in 2 years, probably won't be you. I'm not trying to be negative, but there's factors behind those success stories that are not typically reality. You're hearing about the 1 in 1,000. It doesn't work that way. Real business success is you get in business and you win some battles, you lose some battles, you grind it out, you learn some hard lessons, you work through some pain, you have some big wins, you make some money, you lose some money, you have some problems, you have some giant successes. Things go great, then things go a little poor. But all along the way, you're learning these lessons. And all along the way, your business is getting better. You're learning more. It's creeping up. It's getting better and better. 5 years, you look back, you're like, man, I can't believe where I came from. 10 years, you look back and you're like, wow. I could never imagine any other lifestyle. The problem I see is when I walk around, I'm at Walmart or I'm at Target or I'm, anywhere. And I'm looking around at... Or I go to out to a restaurant and I overhear conversations of other people. Everybody wants to be in business for themselves, and everybody's talking about, I'm going to do it one day. Everybody makes the New Year's resolution. Next year I'm going to start my business, or the stars are going to align, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, then I'm going to do it. You know what? No, none of those people ever do it. It's like nobody. They just talk. Do not be the talker. Don't play that game. Don't get caught up in the over-planning. You will never start if you do that. And in 10 years, you're going to look back and it's going to be some reason why you can't do it now. Well, the kids are, going to be in college in 5 years. Can't do it now, but when they're out of college, I'm sure as hell going to start that business. No. Seriously, that is how you end up 70 and you've never done it. You're going to start a business. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. and you're gonna love it. It's gonna be stressful, it's gonna be frustrating, you're gonna get angry, you're gonna love it. It's the best thing you could possibly do. You're gonna have to sacrifice, you're gonna have to make some hard decisions. I get all these people that tell me, hey, don't, if you're talking to guys about what goes into business, telling them that it's hard and that it's going to be challenging, that doesn't sell. Nobody wants to buy your stuff if you tell them it's going to be hard. I don't care, because I'm telling you it's a little bit hard. But, it's also hard to work at Walmart. It's also hard to sell cars. It's also hard to do all these other things and make 50 grand a year. It's a whole lot better to go out and bust your butt, go through some pain and learn a bunch of stuff and be smarter than a whole lot of other people and get to go on vacations and get to make some real money and get to make decisions where you're total control of your own life. That's hard. That stuff's hard. You've got to pay the price. You got to sacrifice. You got to do things that nobody else is willing to do. But it's a whole lot better than the alternative. So if right now you're on the fence and you're scared and you're like, oh, I might fail, or this might fall apart, or it may not work out, or whatever the million reasons you have, whatever they are, you're going to have a million reasons 3 years from now. You're going to have a million reasons 5 years from now. You've got to commit now, and you've got to do it. It'll be the best thing you've ever done. You're not going to get rich overnight. You're not going to be living in a $500,000 house next month or next year or 2 years from now. You're going to have to roll money back into your business. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. If you're married, your wife's going to have to be on board with you, or your spouse is going to have to be on board. You guys are going to have to work together on this as a team. If you're not on the same page, it's going to be miserable. But if you guys are, if you're on the same page, if you're willing to commit, if you're willing to say, we do not care about putting on a show to all of our friends and trying to keep up with our friends in the big houses, driving the fancy cars, because we're building something that's going to take care of us for the rest of our lives. Who cares what everybody else thinks right now? Who cares that my dad says you won't make it in business, it's too hard? Who cares what my best buddy says that, you can't do it, it's too challenging? You got to ignore all that BS. You got to block it out. You've got to have laser focus, and you've got to say, this is what I want for me and my family and in my life, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to read, I'm going to study, I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to screw some stuff up, and I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to win. I'm going to make it. It drives me crazy how many people say to me, oh, I want to be in business, I'm going to do it. And I know they'll never do it. And it doesn't drive me crazy. Well, it kind of drives me crazy they won't do it. You know what drives me crazy is I love what I'm doing. I love this. I love being in business for myself. I love being in control. I love that if I want to work till 3:30 in the morning and come to the office at 10, I can do it. I love that I get to do some really crazy, awesome stuff that most of my friends could never afford. I don't live fancy and flashy. I don't have any debt. I don't try to keep up with other people. I don't care about none of that stuff. I live what I believe is complete freedom, having no debt, owing nobody anything, being able to do anything I want. If I hate my business, I could shut it down tomorrow and I could do something else, and I could live for years with no income. I don't say that in any way to be, bragging or anything. What I mean by that is that's what you want. I know that's what you want. That's what everybody wants. But if you talk about it and if you overplan it, you'll never get there. You'll never. I took a job. I started out mowing yards, and I mowed yards, and that's where I got the taste for being in business. Nobody in my family and my background has been in business for themselves. My dad's an artist, but nobody else has been in business really for themselves, running a businesses with employees. But I got a taste for making money in high school, and I made more money in high school than my teachers made, and I realized this is cool. Then it got me interested in reading the business magazines and the books, and it progressed to the next thing. Well, along the way, I got married, and I took a job in the software industry right after I got my degree, or while I was getting my college degree. And there was an opportunity there, so I did that for 4 years. There was a real opportunity there where I was making some okay money, and I had a wife, and we had a child coming along. I could have been trapped. And I made a conscious decision to risk it all and go back out in business for myself. And if I had not done that, to think that I would be trapped working for somebody, even if I'm making 6 figures, I would have been trapped working for somebody making 120 grand a year, I would be miserable. Because I wouldn't have freedom, I wouldn't have total control, and I wouldn't be driving my own life.